Hello.
I said, how you doing?
Good, man. Have you noticed anything different?
I think somebody joined the chat now. Oh, and you've got your
Uh,
earplugs.
yeah,
Got a new set. You got a new set. Yeah, that's cool.
yeah, yeah. Actually, my sister gave it to me. Yeah,
Yeah, looks cool. Looks cool. I like the color as well. Black is a good color for headsets.
yeah,
So,
man.
how was your weekend?
Yeah, man. It's a bit different, hey. I mean, I'm so used to wearing the other thing, but anyway, let's get down to the cricket. India winning the series against the West Indies 3-0, but West Indies were competitive. It could have been 2-1. Surya Kumar was the man of the series. I'm happy for him. And then Surya Kumar and oh, sorry, no, sorry, Surya Kumar was actually the other was actually the man of the match, and he was also man of the series. So happy for him. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, look, the Windies batting was a lot more better in this series. They competed
Mm,
with the bat, but
mm,
unfortunately,
yeah.
they just the ball let them down. I think, especially when
Mm-hmm,
India were batting in those first innings as well. But I mean,
mm-hmm,
looking at the series as a whole, I think they should have won the second one because they were
mm,
in quite a
mm,
good position at one stage, and they let it slip. But
yeah.
I mean, the series as a whole, I think India probably deserved to win it. And
Mm,
I mean, the tour as a whole for the Windies has really been one to forget. I mean, at the least of all, trying to compete, but I mean,
mm, mm.
you've got to rack up wins here and there for
Yeah, definitely.
you know for spectators and for fans of the game to really start taking you seriously. And I think
Mm,
they're still battling with that balance between attack and defense. In
mm,
regards to T20 cricket, they don't seem to play. I mean, I spoke to you about this offer as well. They don't seem to play for 40 overs. They seem to have
mm,
those
mm.
flashes of brilliance, and then they just they don't seem to be consistent throughout the game to actually get over the line. And I think that separates the great sides from the not so great sides, or sides that are struggling at the moment. So
Yeah.
I think this is very important, and they lack a bit of game awareness, and that is why I mean, you can see the series ending 3-0 to India. I mean, I still think India would have been favourites to win the series outright, but I think
Mm,
2-1 would
mm,
have been looked better than 3-0. And yeah,
mm,
unfortunately, they've
mm.
got nothing to show for going back home. So I think it's back to the drawing board a bit for them. Hey, but they do have some talented players. It's all about I think
Mm.
finding a core group now. I mean, this is World Cup year, so they got to find a core group of players, and just stick with them, and you get continuity in
Mm.
selection, and with continuity in selection, you get better results. But if you're constantly chopping and changing the side, you're not really going to get a winning formula going.
Mm. Yeah, that's true, man. Okay, let's move to Australia and Sri Lanka. Now that Sri Lanka got a consolation win, I think they had their chances. I mean, had they had that killer instinct, it could have been 3-2 to Australia. And Kusal Mendes was man of the match, and Glenn Maxwell was player of the series. Nice to see Maxwell having his talent being shown in the full series. I mean, he's always been up and down. So good for him, man. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean Sri Lanka. I mean, if you look at the series as well, they definitely deserve to get something out of it, and I was glad that they actually got one over in the Aussies in the final game. But I mean, look at the series. I mean, it wasn't a high scoring series by no stretch of the imagination. The bowling from
Mm,
both
mm,
sides was quite impressive. It was quite impressive, and look, that scoreline of 4-1. I mean, it might look quite big, but I think it's a bit flattering as well because I mean,
yeah.
one of those games went to a super over. So that scoreline is a bit flattering. I think it was a much closer series than that's it. I think Sri Lanka
Mm,
really competed quite well, albeit the very young side. And I mean, you can expect a lot from them going forward in years to come. But I thought this young Sri
mm,
Lankan side really competed with an Australian side that's got so much of
mm.
experience, and I mean, just know how to win T20 matches at the moment.
Yeah, man. Which makes it quite surprising that now that when we get to our next segment, India and Sri Lanka, that the series has been quite one-sided. India has won the series over 2-0. I know that the match today at 3:30, which should happen in 14 minutes. So it's a bit disappointing from that point of view. I would have expected it to be competitive from that point of view because they played so well against Australia. Although, India is starting to build up their momentum, which is good for that T20 World Cup. The bench strength is getting a chance to play, and that's good, man. I'm happy for India in that sense. They're winning, and that's important.
Yeah, look, pitches have been quite good, big pitches, and that's helped India as well because if you look at the last game was a real belter. 180, and India chased that down quite easily. They could have easily got 220 on that wicket. That's how good that batting strip was, and I think it has to do a lot with the batting depth of India. I think their depth is something that's really being shown out here, and they have sturdy depth. And obviously, Sri Lankan side, we've spoken about it. They're still a relatively young side. And, playing India in India is one of the tough, especially for a young side, an up-and-coming team. You've got to have a few, experience, heads to actually, lead the youngsters by. But, look, this is a learning curve for them. I can only see them getting better from this experience. 2-0 down at the moment. I think there's still a lot to play for Sri Lanka. I think they need to try and target a win, at least get it to 2-1. 2-1 is very, very respectable. It will give them a little bit of confidence going into that Test series, which is, I think, quite important for both sides at the moment in terms of World Test Championship points. And India are hot favorites to win this next game. Yeah, but you really can't rule out a Sri Lankan win as well because India have experimented quite a bit in the series, and I think Sri Lanka now with the series done and dusted, I think they can just play with some freedom and try to get that win out. And like I said, every win they get as a young side, it's going to give them a lot of confidence.
Yeah, I've been reading here. It says here that from T20's scripter, and it says here that the pitch is drier than what it was the previous match, and that's why I think Sri Lanka has probably chosen to bat first. So I think if Sri Lanka posts another 180 score, I think India may not be able to chase it that easily. If the pitch is a bit drier, it might turn a bit more. And also, India is bringing in a few changes today. Bishnoi is playing, Kuldeep is playing, although not bad. Avish, and then Siraj, and then Sri Lanka. So that should be interesting. Wouldn't surprise me if Sri Lanka might win this one if the pitch is going to get a bit drier later on. It's a bit drier than usual.
It should be an interesting game.
India's still going to squeak home again
because as you say, they're playing in the same venue, so I think they'll fancy their chances of getting a good first innings if they do bat first and make it difficult with their spinners. But I don't think dew has played a big factor in the series, so it'll be interesting to see if there's any dew in the second innings because we haven't seen much dew, and we haven't seen much dew in the West Indies series as well, which is quite strange. Playing you tend to get quite a bit of dew, but
chemical or something.
Yeah, this would be. I think if Sri Lanka could get a win here, it'd be a very, very good confidence booster for the side. And but it's going to be tough against this Indian side. Quite ruthless at home in home conditions at the moment. I think it's 12 straight in a row in T20's, and they look like a formidable outfit. So Sri Lanka have their work cut out, but I think with the series done and dusted, they can just play with freedom.
So, on a final note, I'm going to say if there's no dew, right, I think it could be a Sri Lankan win tonight. Although, I don't know, the feeling, if there's no dew, of course, but if there is dew, then I'll say it's 3-0 to India then. But it doesn't matter. India's won the series 2-1. Doesn't really make much difference.
Absolutely, it doesn't. It doesn't really matter.
So what do you think? So you think Sri Lanka can win or still India to win it?
I think India are hot favorites at the moment, but as I said, Sri Lanka, they should back themselves to try and get a result here. And I'd like to see them chasing because I think this is a good chasing ground, and they're playing at the same venue. So
I know Sri Lanka
it
chose to
wouldn't be a
bat
bad.
first.
It wouldn't.
Yeah,
Sorry,
Sri Lanka batting.
sorry, I
No, I
can't hear
think
you.
that no, I said that Sri Lanka batting first anyway. So yeah, they won the toss and
Sri
batted
Lanka
first, and I
batting
think
first.
that.
Okay, yeah. So I guess it's all about getting a good first innings total. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they got to try and target between 190 200, and I think 200 is kind of a psychological scoreline, and that would give them a very very big boost in trying to defend that.
Yeah, and then if there's no dew and the pitch is drier than the last match, then I think Sri Lanka should win it on that basis. But obviously, we'll see how that goes. Let's get to the final segment.
Absolutely.
South Africa and New Zealand, a much better competitive test. Last test was a funeral event. As I told you on WhatsApp, it felt like a charity event, you know? Yeah, man.
I really
Such.
don't want to remember the first test, and I think we
I know,
spoke
I know,
about
I
it
know.
in length.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I know.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
this was a much more improved performance, and I think one that really got me smiling. And I lost a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
sleep watching this match in the early hours of the morning. But I mean, it was well worth it. It was a fascinating watch so far. And I think the Proteas they really learned from their mistakes in that first test,
Definitely.
especially with the bat.
Mm.
I think they were much more responsible with the bat this time around. And I mean, 340, 364. I think, I mean, with Keshav and Janssen chipping in there towards the end, some really, really
Mm.
handy lower order runs. I think that was a great first innings total. And I mean,
Mm.
I was happy for Sarl. I mean, his second test match, and you know, he showed that he deserves to be at this level, and he's waiting a long time for his chance, and he really made it count. And I think we saw a lot of good partnerships in this innings from the Proteas, and the bowling was much better. I thought the bowling was excellent on day two. And I mean, it only took a counter-attacking innings from CDG, Colin de Grandhomme, to actually change the game somewhat and bring New Zealand back into it slightly. But
Mm.
however, I do feel the Proteas have their noses slightly in front. Excuse me, at the moment after day three, it's 140 for five, 211,
Mm.
effectively 211 for five because there's a lead of
Mm.
211. And look, I mean, this is where it really gets interesting now. Day four, you're trying to look for a lead and something that your bowlers can bowl at. So I'm looking at the score at the moment. I think 280, 300 would be quite good. It'll be quite difficult to chase that down. And judging by what I saw in this third innings, it is getting a little bit more difficult on that wicket. And it was quite cold today. After a while, we saw a lot of cold weather there at this venue in Christchurch. So
Mm.
I think the Poachers have got to target a total of around 300. 320 would be marvelous as well, and that
Yeah.
would give the bowlers a lot of confidence to try and defend the score. And having said that, I mean, with Keshav back in this lineup as well, the bowling is looking a little bit more varied, looking well
Definitely.
balanced compared to
Yeah.
the attack that we see in the first test, which is really
Yeah, I
really
missed him.
predictable and went. So
Yeah,
yeah, I mean
yeah.
KG was back.
Yeah.
KG was back in the inning. I mean, 5 for
Yeah.
60 after 18 overs. He can be proud of that. That was the KG of the old. And
Mm-hmm.
Janssen bowled beautifully as well. And Keshav obviously supported them. Sapamla, I mean, I expect him to have a better second innings with the ball. I do think he bowled quite well in patches as well. And look, you got Mulder as well as a fifth bowling option. So there is bowling options, and I expect Keshav to play a really big role in this fourth innings. With the pitch breaking up. So yeah, it's fascinating at the moment, and yeah, much more improved performance. I think they've put the first test horrors behind them. So far, so good, and I think it's all about getting the job done at the moment.
Mm.
So the side has shown even against India that they do fantastically when it comes to having their backs against the wall, and they showed it again
Mm.
here, and it's testament to the fighting spirit of this team. So we want to see them start series well, but I think they do play well when their backs are against the wall, and we saw it in this game. There was actually nowhere to hide, and I think the coaching staff and the players, they had a good talking to. It was a tough couple of days leading up to that second test, and I think the players, heard the call of the coaching staff and a much improved performance in the second test.
Do you think that the fact that this second test match pitch wasn't as, you could say, hectic as the first test match, it kind of helped us out in the sense that I think it made it easier for Dean Elgar to bat first. Otherwise, they might have bowled first in the second test. That's why initially when I saw that he wanted to bat first, I was a bit surprised, but then I read that the pitch didn't have as much grass, so do you think that might have...
Yeah, potentially, but Dean, obviously, he's a sort of captain that does really assertive things, and I think that batting first and winning the toss and batting first was a really bold decision. But that's Dean Elgar as a character, and he makes bold decisions. And look, I think they really wanted to undo the wrongs of the first test, especially with the bat, because the batting was woeful. And I think conditions were slightly better for batting, but I think the application was much better as well, Sid. I think the application of this test match was much better. They were much more disciplined outside off stump. They left a lot of balls, and they let the New Zealanders bowl to them. And 364. I would have liked a little bit more. I must suggest, because I think we were in quite a fantastic position after day one. But look, things happen quite quickly in New Zealand. So you got to give them credit. They're a fine bowling lineup, and
of course,
they always seem to stay in the game. They always seem to stay in the game, and by no means they would think they're out of this game. So tomorrow morning is actually crucial. It's really, really crucial in setting up this test match. The Proteas don't want to lose wickets, and I think there's so much time left in this test match. You've got 2 full days. The Proteas actually managed to score. New Zealand would have, I think, effectively a day and a half to get those runs. So, there's so much of time in this test match. So, I think the Proteas have also got to drag this one quite deep as well with the bat. Try and get as many runs as possible, and and the bowlers come out fighting, because I think you see the best of this bowling lineup when they do have a scoreboard. When they do have a score on the board, and they tend to bowl much better. So I think it's about having a very good score, a good score on the board, a competitive score, and you'll see this bowling lineup coming out fighting.
Yeah. What I'm looking at the score, right? 140 for 5, right? And if you look at 5 wickets, if you look at 100 runs, if they even add 100 runs, it's like 20 runs per wicket. Mathematically, it seems possible, but I think if they can do that, that will give them a lead of 310. I think they could defend that. I think New Zealand, they would want to chase 250. I think that would keep New Zealand in the game. What do you think?
Yeah, you got these 2 youngsters at the wicket at the moment, Verreynne and Mulder, and I think it's about time they do make some good contributions with the bat, because Vian Mulder was actually picked as a batting all-rounder. So they saw something in his batting to give him a game. So I think he has a lot of responsibility at the moment in terms of getting that score close to 300. And of course, Verreynne, he showed his talent in the one-day game, but I think he hasn't really settled in test matches. But this could just be the innings for him to actually get going in test cricket. So this is going to be a really, really important partnership, Sid. And Jansen can chip in, Keshav can chip in, KG can chip in with the bat. So you've got some batting to come, but I think this partnership has really got to take it deep, and you can get some handy contributions after that as well. So I think 300 minimum at the moment, and look, you got to try and get as many as possible. I personally think 350 would be really, really difficult for New Zealand to chase on.
Definitely.
So I would love to see them eye that sort of total, 350. It's looking a bit optimistic at the moment from my side, but judging by what I see at the moment, and I mean, with Verena and Mulder, they're looking a little bit short at the wicket from what I saw towards the end of the day 3. So I mean, if they can put another 50, and as you said, Janssen and Keshav and KG can just chip in, because at the end of the day, I mean, these are the bowlers, and they've also got to make some contribution, because they'll be bowling last on this wicket, and they want to have runs to play with. So I'm sure there's going to be some from the coaching staff, and advising the remaining batters that, as many runs as possible, and really try and bat them out of the game potentially. So I think that's going to be the plan tomorrow. But I mean, the first session, absolutely crucial. It could go either way. Absolutely crucial. So it's very important that the Proteas lose no more than 2 wickets. If they score another 80, I'd say losing 2 wickets at most.
Yeah.
That would really be a good session for them. And I mean, after lunch, they can prime and tong and get those quick runs. And I think anything's possible after that. So to me, 350 is the magic total at the moment. They've got to try and target 350. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So on a final note, I'm saying for tomorrow, SA to win, if they can get to the 300 score to defend, and that's pretty much my wrap. You?
Absolutely. I think 300 is quite psychological, and if we can get to that, I think we can see a series leveling win. And yeah, I mean, a little bit of respite for some fans, and I think it's been a tough all week. I mean, the first test really didn't go well, and I think this would really give the side a lot of confidence. And points are so crucial. I mean, that World Test Championship. There's so many teams at the moment that are really chasing those points, and I think if the Proteas can win this one year and level it up 1-1, this would be a fantastic series for them. Fantastic series result for this young side, this up and coming side at the moment. There's a lot of youngsters in the side, and it'll give them a great confidence leading up to that home series against Bangladesh. Yeah, I'm going with the Proteas to take this one, and I'm going for a Sri Lankan win in this last game as well.
Okay, I want to say Sri Lanka to win if the pitch really does if there's no dew and the pitch, as they say, is drier, and it'll turn a lot more in the. But obviously, anything can happen, I guess, in India. Any
Absolutely.
final
Anything
words?
happen.
Yeah. Any final words, or we sorted out?
Yeah, I mean, the Women's World Cup is on the horizon, so that's going to be really interesting. I think the Momentum Proteas, they have quite a decent side going to that World Cup. Obviously, okay. I mean, home. It's going to be held in New Zealand, so I think in New Zealand conditions, Australia is going to be one of the favorites. But to me, it's looking quite an open World Cup. There's quite a few teams that can win it, eh? I mean, you've got Australians. I mean, Australia are quite a formidable side in one-day internationals, the women's side, and then England are in the mix. And look, I think the Proteas are probably the third best side at this tournament, Sid, in terms of results at the moment. So yeah, that's quite exciting. And I mean, we got so much of cricket to come. I mean, we got England, the West Indies and England Test series. We've got Pakistan and Australia. So. I mean, really. I mean, March is really going to be mouth-watering, dude.
Yeah, I just realized it's actually coming the 4th of March this Friday for the first test. God, we didn't even do a preview on that. Let's just do a quick analysis here quickly. Yeah. I'm going to go for Pakistan to take at least the first test. We can do the rest of the analysis in the following episode. I'll just do my quick prediction. First test, Pakistan to win, because I think Australia will still trying to get used to the conditions, and I think Pakistan will take advantage of that. And let's go quickly to England and West Indies quickly. See when the first test is actually. The first test is actually on the 8th of March, which is actually next week. So we still have time.
I think we've got some time to digest that one. I think we can leave that for next weekend. But Pakistan and Australia are really, very interesting. I mean, the Aussies are going back to Pakistan after 24 years, and I gotta agree with you there. I think they're gonna take about a test to actually get into that, get the feel of the conditions. So yeah, I'd back Pakistan to take that first test, and I mean they've always been quite a formidable side at home, especially against Western countries as well. So yeah, I'm backing Pakistan to win that first test as well.
Okay, I think that's pretty much a wrap. I shall check you out soon.
Take care, Sid, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, and chat to you soon.
You too, man. Yeah, man.
Cheers, man.
You too.